in this free drum lesson, we're going to take a look at the drum solo from the song Rope by the Foo Fighters, drummed by the gurning tub thumper Taylor Hawkins. It's an 8-bar drum solo, and it can be thought of as 4 groupings of 2 bars. The first bar of each group of 2 bars starts the same way. So that's how I'm going to explain it to you. So it starts on the first line, and it starts off rather simply. The first bar itself has this pattern. Taylor's right hand is up on a crash cymbal, left hand on the snare drum, and the crash cymbal and the bass drum are going to play together on 1, the and of beat 1, snare drum on its own on beat 2, then a crash cymbal and bass drum on the and of 2, and then a gap, and then we're going to leave. Then we're going to play the crash cymbal and the bass drum on the and of 3, like that. So the pattern is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that pattern is repeated again for each line. So it's worth learning that properly. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The second bar of the first line is blank, so he leaves a little space before the second line starts. And the second line starts the same way as the first line, as previously mentioned. In fact, all 4 lines are going to start the same way. We have the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But instead of leaving the gap 4 and at the end of the first bar, we're now going to start the drum fill, and it starts on beat 4. And Taylor uses or plays this really cool idea, and it's related to another lick which a lot of drummers play called I call it the fuddle-a-dump, because that's what it sounds like, fuddle-a-dump. I like to play it through triplets, so you might hear something like something like that. It's great for endings of songs as well, stuff like that. But we're going to play it through 16th notes. That's how Taylor plays it. So the lick itself, and I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll break it down into small sections, and we'll build it up in complexity. So first of all, we just want to be able to play this. Snare drum, high tom, floor tom, bass drum. Right, left, right, bass drum. And as a practice suggestion, try to loop that round into a flow of notes. Once you've got that down, you can start to go to the next stage, where Taylor does something quite unique with this idea, and he adds the crash cymbal with the left hand at the same time as the bass drum at the end. So your hands are actually playing right, left all the way through. You move your left hand up to the crash cymbal with the bass drum for the last note. So you get this: right, left, bass drum and crash cymbal together at the same time at the end. Right, left. Quite tricky when you first getting used to that. Certainly was for me when I was learning this solo for this video, because that's something I've never thought about doing before, adding the left hand to the crash cymbal at the end. It's a really cool idea. So back to the solo itself. At the end of the first bar on the second line, we have this lick starting on beat 4. 4 E and into the next bar gets repeated, 1 E and then just to be clever, Taylor leaves out the crash cymbal at the end and just plays it the standard way. For beat 2, 2 E and like that, so no crash cymbal on the of 2, 2 E and then we have a nice simple line of 16th notes on the snare drum, starting on beat 3, 3 E and 4 E, and then the last 2 notes on the floor tom and so 3 E and 4 E and 3 E and 4 E and So let me play the whole 2 bars slowly for you, including the at the beginning. Let me count myself in. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Let me try a bit faster now. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. I'm not sure if I counted myself in properly there, but let me try that a bit faster now. Okay, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and like that. So that's the second line. Good fun in itself. You can take little chunks of that out and you've got yourself brand new little licks to work on. I mean, you could just, without the crash cymbal bit at the end, that linear pattern, which I think is really cool, you could play that as a drum fill, something like this. Pretty cool, right? So taking something out of the solo, you've got something brand new right there, which I certainly had fun exploring with. Okay, on to line 3, and it starts the same way. 1 and 2 and 3 and we've got a rather, well, complicated to explain idea. In essence, it's actually quite simple, but I'm going to try to explain it to you in words now, so bear with me as I try to explain something relatively complicated to put into words. So hopefully you're aware that 16th notes, there are 4 per beat. So 1 Eander, 2 Eander, 3 Eander, 4 Eander. And drummers can do clever things with 16th notes or 8th notes or any line of notes they like, but we're talking about 16th notes right now. Most of the time, you tend to play ideas in groups of 4 or groups of 2 or groups of 8 or groups of 6 even, and you can sort of feel the beat go by nicely. But if you want to be clever, then you can split your notes up, your ideas, into groupings of 3. And that's what Taylor does here. So if you've got 4 16th notes per beat and you start overlaying groupings of 3 over the top of that, you start to, here's my grouping of 3, it doesn't quite fit. So it goes across the beat. So you have like what would you call it, like a polyrhythmic effect in a way, where Taylor is playing groupings of 3 across 16th notes. And the way Taylor groups his 3s is he's playing on the floor toms. He's got 2 floor toms. Now, most people haven't got a second floor tom, so I'm going to be using my single floor tom and the high tom. But it doesn't matter what toms you use. It's the basic pattern and the accents that are important, as I'll explain to you next. So you're playing a line of 16th notes, starting on beat 4. The entire rest of that line is just 16th notes. 4 Eander, 1 Eander, 2 Eander, 3 Eander, 4 Eander. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. But that doesn't change all the way through. Taylor plays the bass drum every third 16th note. So it happens to alternate with the hands. So the first bass drum note comes down with the right hand, and the second bass drum note, 3 notes later, 3 16th notes later, comes down with the left hand. So if I was to count it, and we'll leave out the different drums for now. We're just going to work on the floor tom. 4 Eander, 1 Eander, 2 Eander, 4 Eander. So you can see that it's basically, you can think of it as, it isn't actually triplets, but you can think of it as triplets. It's groupings of 3, and you're playing right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, like that. 4 Eander, 1 Eander, 2 Eander, 4 Eander. And remember, that's the bass drum being played underneath there at the same time as the alternating hands. What Taylor does next is he plays the right hand accents with the bass drum on the floor tom, and his left hand accents on the high tom. Now, if you've got 2 floor toms, you can change that. You can play your right hand accents on the second lower floor tom and your left hand accents on the slightly higher low tom, if that makes sense. It doesn't matter what toms you use, that's not important. Taylor happens to use 2 floor toms. Like I said, I'm going to be using these 2 toms here. Now, Taylor also happens to have a cowbell set up in his drum kit. I haven't on this electric kit, so I'm going to use the bell of the ride cymbal instead. You can do the same. If you haven't got a cowbell, use the bell of the ride cymbal. It requires a little bit of accuracy at speed, coming up to the bell quickly to hit it dead on, but with a bit of practice, that shouldn't be a problem for you. So let me get on to the actual pattern itself. We're playing all right hand accents on the floor tom and the left hand accents up on the high tom. And look out for the cowbell / ride cymbal bell note, just a single right hand note on the bell of the ride cymbal in this case, on the and of beat 2. So it happens to be the third accent, 4E and 1 E and. The and, sorry, not the and of beat 2, the and of beat 1. We're into the second bar. So 4E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and I'm going to stop at that point, repeat that for you. Starting from beat 4, remember. 4E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and like that. At the end of the bar, Taylor comes out of it with 2 16th notes on the snare drum on the and the of beat 4. And it happens to fall, the and on the snare drum, the and of 4, falls with the bass drum that would have been played normally. It happens to be going every third 16th note, and the bass drum at the end falls with the first note of the 2 snare drum notes. Basically, the bass drum falls on the and of beat 4 with the snare drum on the and of beat 4. And we play right, left on the snare drum. Remember, it's right, left, right, left, right, left all the way through, and that's not changing. So now let me play how we get from the floor tom to the snare drum. I'm going to play the whole section for you, basically, starting on beat 4, nice and slowly. 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 4 E and Did I get that right? I'm not sure if I can that right for you. Let me try that again. It's really hard playing it this slowly. I just tend to use my instincts when I'm playing through this. And I'll give you a little tip in a second, which also helps me to get through it. Let me try that again. I'm not sure if I got that right for you. Here we go. 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and I didn't get that right for you. That time was right. Let me do that again. 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and There we go. That was definitely right. So my little tip, which helps me get through it, was after you've played the bell of the ride cymbal up here on the and of beat 1, your right hand comes down to the floor tom, obviously. You've then got 2 more left hand high tom notes before the right hand plays the 2 snare drum notes. Well, not the right hand, the right and the left. Before the right hand moves to the snare drum with the left hand. So look out for my high tom notes after the bell of the ride cymbal. Count them. There'll be 2 high tom notes, and then the next right, which normally played on the floor tom, it's going to be played on the snare drum as and like this. 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and We try again. I'm going to try and do something complicated with my voice. I'm going to try and count the number of high tom notes I play. Here we go. 4 E and 1 E and 2 1 2 and there you go. That's the snare drum coming in there with the bass drum like that. So when we get to the next line, the bass drum is not going to be playing 3 16th notes later from the and of beat 4. It's actually going to be playing 2 16th notes later. So the bass drum resolves itself back to beat 1 of the next line. So you get this and 1 bass drum, boom, 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 like that. Let me try line 3 a bit faster now for you, including the first part of the bar. Count myself in. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. Try that again at that speed. That was a good speed to do it at. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. Excuse my dodgy counting myself in there. I know that's not a sentence, but I'm not going to change it. I'm using that. I'm going with that. I'm counting myself in and then starting a different speed. I'm hearing what I want to play, the tempo I want to show you at, rather than actually trying to hear the counting in bit. Sorry if I'm not making sense. It is very early. Okay, here we go again. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. And a bit faster. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. See, I'm not doing it right. What speed do I want to show you? Here we go. This thing. Work it out now. 3 and 4 and 1. So there's the third line for you. The fourth line, we've got the same beginning, 1 and 2 and 3 and then we've got a line of triplet notes, starting on beat 4 again. 6 triplet notes, 8th note triplet notes, With the triplets, we have 3 notes per beat. So with the previous lines, we've had 16th notes playing 4 notes per beat. Now we have triplets, 8th note triplets, and there are 3 evenly spaced notes per beat. 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet. So it sounds like the drum fill slows down because in effect the notes are slowing down. We're playing less notes per beat, giving the impression the tempo is slowing down, but we're just playing 8th note triplets. So we've got 6 triplet notes on the snare drum, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Excuse me. And then starting on beat 2, the next 6 triplet notes, we get 2 on the snare drum, 2 in the high tom, 2 on the floor tom. 2 triplet, 3 triplets, and then it ends with a crash and bass drum on beat 4, the end of that line. 4. So 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4. I mean, he leaves this little gap on beat 4 before coming back into the next section of the song where the guitar solo starts. So let me try that slowly for you. Line 4 now. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4, 1. There's a little gap at the end. 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4. Like that. A bit faster. Da, 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 da. 1, 2, 1, 2, da, 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 da. Again. 3, 2, da, 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 da. Now, what did I do wrong there? Well, I started to move around the toms too early, I think it was. So rather than stopping, which perhaps a lot of beginner drummers might feel they have to do, I did my best to keep going. I basically played the remaining notes on the toms instead of them all on the snare drum. So I encourage you to do the same. If you ever make a mistake, especially if you're playing live, the worst thing you can do is stop. So stay calm in those kind of situations and do your best to recover from your mistakes. In that instance, I was keeping pulse in my head, timing going by, and I knew where beat 4 was coming up, so I just played the remaining notes on the floor tom and hoped for the best to get out where I wanted to get out. So it's a little lesson there for drumming in general, really, when it comes to doing drum fills, especially when you're trying to learn other drummers' parts, when you've got multiple tom parts to go for. If you end up playing a wrong tom, or you're not quite orchestrating it the same way as the drummer does, then so what? It doesn't really matter, unless of course you're being tested on it. Do your best to recover from mistakes like that. Clear your mind as quickly as possible and continue. That's what I try and do. Oh, I made a mistake. Immediately gone from my mind, carry on. I've got to keep going. The more you do it, the better at that you get. And it's a lifesaver on stage, because I make mistakes on stage all the time. Through trial and error, I've learned to recover from them as quickly as possible by wiping them from my mind and doing my best to keep going, keeping the pulse in my head so I know where I am, or I'm feeling it, and I can hopefully get to the next section without any show stopping. Okay, so that's the whole drum solo for you. It's up to tempo, as you heard at the beginning of this video, quite fast. Yes, sure, syncopated, complicated, orchestration ideas a little bit complicated. But if you put a bit of practice in, it's well worth having a go at. There's so many cool things in this drum solo to take away, individual snippets, cool ideas, subdivision work, so working on 16th triplets, nice little linear licks thrown in there, polyrhythmic ideas, everything, all these cool ideas, all in one drum solo. So well worth having a go at. You can always email me, or you can write on my forum or my Facebook page. If you've got any issues with any of this, I'll be happy to help you, answer your questions in any way I can. Always am. So best of luck, happy drumming, and see you next time.